Blah! Y'all already know what it is. Your boy Yakob, what it do? Episode 22 to the outlet to reality, the hardest podcast in Vegas and Chicago. What up? Today, this is the place to leave your drama, to hide from your reality, and with my co-host Hami Arian. And today we have a special guest. Not only she's my friend, she's like a second mom to me. Got my back, and she's an author, social worker, and she's one of the founders of Latina. Maribel, you help me right here. Latina Provide Care. I'm close.
Latina organization that helps Latina women.
Oh, I love that. Thank you, girl. Hit me with the right hook. I like that. And she's also, she has a very great book that we're going to get to as well. And don't forget, fans, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. Cha-ching. And real quick, before we get started, Maribel, thank you for coming. This is an honor. Thank you, girl. Real quick, so I got a little story I want to share. I don't know if you guys are scared of mice or mouse.
This has nothing to do with the club, does it?
No. So
Right.
tell me why. When I used to live with my mom's, one day we had a mouse that came in my house. And Maribel knows I have about 15 people that live in my house. So I don't know who brought the cheese because the mouse came in and I got terrified. I jumped and went straight downstairs to the basement to my cousin's house, his room. And he was freaking out. He told the family, guys, I got a mouse in my house. I don't know what I'm going to do. So I had my cousin, my best friend. He had a scoba. He had a broom. Somebody brought the shoes. Somebody brought like the Axe spray bottle. And I brought a little box, like the cardboard to throw it at the mouse. So I get downstairs. We're ready. We have a plan to corner the mouse. So we cornered the mouse. And once the mouse comes out, I'm not going to lie, I was the only one that had hope. Instead of throwing the box at the mouse, I threw it up to the sky. And I freaked out and I screamed. And the
I like
mouse,
it. Reverse psychology. I like it.
Yeah, you like that. It left and went straight to my room upstairs. And it was the saddest thing because I had my best friend staying over that day. And I had to sacrifice my life. So I said, look, buddy, you're going to have to stay in that room. I'm going to stay in that couch. You can survive, man, but I can't. So I left my boy hanging, but that was the story of the mouse. So I just had to share that real quick. But anyways, now we have, going back to my, one of my very special people in my life, Dr. Maribel Lopez. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello, everyone. I can't believe you're scared of a little mouse.
It's
You don't want to hear my mouse story. I used to sleep with rats, not mice.
Can you share a little bit about it? I'm curious.
Woo! Okay. You want to hear it? Here it goes.
I'm already here.
Here it comes. As a young girl, I was born in the island of Puerto Rico. Very, very modest, and let's keep it real. Very, very poor. And I remember that our first home was a government program, and the government would, choose a family and build a home for them. But in the process, we didn't have where to live, so we had to live in the home. So at one point, it was like we didn't have any floor, or the floor has a lot of holes. You could see the ground, the outside, the mud. You could see it, and our roof was like this metal sheets. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. Anyway, it rained, water came in. At night, well, if it rains especially, then where's the rat and the mice are gonna go? If there's a hole into going to a home, they're gonna hide away, right? So they were coming to the home, and there, I can't tell you a few nights where I woke up and the rat was sleeping on top of my belly.
Oh my gosh! Oh my
Man.
So you are a chicken.
wow!
Well, I know, yes, David.
I'm sorry, I cannot. If I had a wife, she would get so mad at me because I left the house.
I'm not referring no girls to you. That's it.
Thank you.
I love you with all my heart, but I'm not sending no girls to you.
Oh man, that's crazy. See, you already give me the chills. They're multiplying. You know what I'm saying?
So let me tell you what helped me overcome my fear of the rats and mice.
Okay.
I watched a movie. I don't know if you guys remember this movie, Sylvester Stallone's movie, Daylight. I think it's called Daylight. And so one of the actors, not to make the story long, was scared of rats, and he or she needed to get through the rats to get to safety because there was cables broken falling down and there was water, and so that could have killed her versus the rats, right? And so the person that was trying to help her, she says, listen, rats are just little pieces of crap. And that just stood with me, like, they're little pieces of crap, right? And then it hit me. I am bigger than a rat or a mouse. I can kick it. I can stomp on it. I can push it away. And so I was like, you know what? I'm bigger than a rat and I'm bigger than a mouse. And so they don't scare me anymore.
Wow.
Yeah, but what if the rat was in the shape of a spider? Because people are scared of spiders because of how they look and how they move.
And I'm not scared of animals at all. I love animals. I'm not scared of spiders. I'm not scared of animals at all. If I could and it was legal in the state of Illinois, I would live with lions and tigers and boas, and I love animals.
Wow. You're a brave woman. I mean, you shocked me already. Oh, man.
What about scorpions? What about, would you live with scorpions?
Well, see, I have respect for the animals that have that venom that can kill me. So, but I'm not scared of it. I know I can stomp on it. I know I can kill it. I would be cautious because they can kill me. But aside from that, I'm not scared of it. None of that scares me. Now, flying insects, I'm like, ugh, don't go on top of me. It gets me disgusted. Don't come on.
Those are gross. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are a different story, and I get terrified when they just stop and just doing that really fast, and I'm just like, that is really that's like they're like sending a message through that,
Yeah, I have in my home. My roof is like cedar. That's what they call it, sheet cedar. Well, the point is, it's like a cabin where I live now, and so beetles come in the house this time of year.
Oh,
Beetles, I think they're called, beetles. And so, that's what they do. They come in and then they fly and land wherever they feel like it. And I just get the swatter is what I call it. Just
well, at least they look okay, right? At least they look pretty cool sometimes, right? Depending on type
no,
of beetle.
they're disgusting to me.
They're
I'm
gross.
not.
All right, yeah.
But they're disgusting.
Oh, wow. Well, yeah, wow.
So I tell you a little bit about. Well, I already told you a little bit about my childhood.
Yeah, you did.
So I am a professor. I'm a full-time professor at the brand new MSW online bilingual program at Loyola University. I've also instructed at Northeastern Illinois, where I also serve as field liaison. And one of my passions is seeing people succeed. One of my passions is helping people thrive in this life, and for them to do what they have to do to get to where they need to go. I am all about quotes, positive quotes, and motivating people to reach their dreams and their goals. And one of my favorite quotes is focus on what you can do, not on what you can't. And so, my husband and I also minister. We are founders of Restored Ministries and also the Dr. Lopez Scholarship Foundation.
Wow. And this is very interesting, Maribel, because with this pandemic, like the topic of today is the importance of mental health, right? I've heard and I've done some research, and I saw your Facebook. I ain't gonna lie, I looked at it, and there's a part where you quoted that 30% of, I guess, mental illness or mental health, my bad, has increased during this pandemic.
You mean mental illness, right?
Mental illness.
Yeah, because mental health is like the state. It's like
Yeah,
the state. It's like the
I'm
system.
getting mixed up. I'm sorry.
But
You know
you're
what
right.
I mean, right?
No, yeah, but you're right. I mean, like everyone has been like I mean, everyone has just been affected, you know, to
Well,
say the least.
yeah, and statistics will show you that 50% of all lifetime mental illness begins at the age of 14. And so um, it's a serious problem. And if you've already have suffered or have been diagnosed with a mental illness, and now with the pandemic on top of it all and everything that's going on, right? Like racial inequality, you know, everything that we're seeing, it just heightens everything up. And if you were a person that was never diagnosed or you didn't even pay attention to it, these times are calling you to pay attention to whoa, my state of emotion, what's my emotional well-being at this time and my mental well-being at this time. So it is a time to take a step back and really look at mental health as a priority in our lives to keep us sane. I tell my students to this morning I had a class and I was sharing with my students how is everybody doing a quick checkup and making sure and letting them know that it is okay if you're not okay today. That's okay. We need to, in some aspects and in some respects, we need to start acknowledging that this is okay because it's part of who we are and it's part of the human life and the human condition. And when you think about teens, and when you think, let me go even more selective. When you think about let me put that quote unquote minority populations, uh, the whole seeking for mental health, professionals is still a big taboo in some communities. And the reality is that some of us, we're not all feeling um, like we got it all together, or you cannot. There is so much time or effort you can put in putting on this mask that you have it all together. It's not sustainable. At some point, it's going to beat you in the butt. I mean, I have an accent, so I'm not apologizing for it, but it's going to beat you in the butt and it's going to catch up to you. You have to pay attention to it. And also, we have to stop, if I may, guys, say this, we have to stop making joke about it. There's a lot of jokes about, oh, that person is depressive or that person, you know,
That was really popular, like at the start of like last decade. I feel like, you know, I remember like 2012 or something like that. We also see maybe even like 3 years ago, we'd see people post stuff like, "Oh, that's just a white guy who's having a bad day. He looks like a school shooter," you know, that type of thing. Um, and that stuff, like, yeah, like you mentioned, like starting at a young age. So like if anyone has ever, I don't know, even been like beaten up or something like that or bullied during their high school years, middle school years. I mean, middle school, I'm sure we've all been bullied at least once, some way. Um, but yeah, like especially when you're like 17 years old or something like that, and you know, maybe someone like your bully could be your friend, or it could be like, you know, your cousin or someone,
your
someone you look up
family.
to. Exactly, yeah. And so like, you know, it's just like, why are they treating me like this? You know, like I'm some sort of like inferior, you know, like, and I guess is you know, I always attribute it to because most people like control, most people like power, and you know, if they don't know what they're feeling, if they don't know. Like I had a COVID test like 2 weeks ago, and that was the most nerve wracking like 3 days or whatever of my life because I was just the power, the fear of the unknown, you know.
Yes, absolutely. And when you speak about the young population, the young population, they want to be the in crowd with the cool crowd, and they don't like to be stand out, not because they
Vulnerable too, yeah.
exactly. They don't want to be that person to stand out for the wrong reasons, right? They want to stand out for the right reasons. I'm popular, I'm cool, but not because, oh, that person has some mental health illness situation or has been diagnosed with whatever, depression, anxiety, schizophrenia, bipolar, you name it. The reality is that those diagnoses are real. It's a real struggle, and we should all stand by them and try to help them, move forward with this, not ridicule them or bully them, which often happens. And keep in mind also among young males and young girls, girls are more likely to seek help than boys. Boys studies have shown that not all, of course, let's not generalize, but that girls are more likely to seek help because they are more likely to put emotions into words, whereas studies have shown that the males have younger males have a more difficult time.
Wow. And I heard something like we discussed, Maribel, like I think 2 or 3 days ago, how it could be the biological too, right? For young men or women that don't want to seek help, um, it's like been passed down the generation, right? And
Yes, yeah,
if you can
definitely.
elaborate a little bit more about that, like,
Yeah. So studies also have shown that depression, for example, can be passed down from family members, genetic. So you can inherit that, and so um, we have to be mindful that it's not somebody trying to be difficult or trying to always, this person's always negative or this person's always so a Debbie Downer. I'm so against those jokes. They're, first of all, who are we trying to insult, right? Who's Debbie and where is she from? And, so we have to be careful. I mean,
Don't call me
seriously,
Debbie.
no. And I can tell you, I've worked with I've mentored young um, teenage girls and boys, and that their struggle is real. And they talk about how in the family they have like nicknames for them. For example, in our Latino, I'm going to speak about our Latino community, and I'm not just going to speak about the entire, but the Latino community I work with and I'm part of. A common nickname or a common label that you would use for somebody is a gordo, fat. So if we say it in English, right? Let's say David. Um, I don't know if your mom ever called you gordo, right? Or
yes,
fat.
yes, yes. You know what I say? You know what I say? I came to Chicago 2 weeks ago. My mom said, "Hey, you're getting real fat." And you know what I said? I said, "Oh, mom, it's a shirt. It's just I washed it too much." I had to come back because I'm like, "Damn, mom, you really say I'm fat." She's like, "Man, ya poniste tan gordo." So I know what you say. I know what you say.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But there's a nickname that is just associated, like they're oh mi gordo, mi gorda, and that's a loving kind of way. But then the child grows or this teenager and they're like, I'm fat. And they've always called me fat. And it's a negative thing because being quote unquote fat is not in the world, right? We have to be thin and etc. And so and we don't realize the damage that we do by those nicknames and labeling and those jokes. So we have to be so one of with so I was you were mentioning about the Latina Childcare Providers Association that I've co-founded with my mom. And that one, definitely, we do a lot of education and awareness around, early childhood education and parenting skills and so forth. And that's one of my biggest one. When I do, they look at me all weird, like you must not be Latina because that's like natural in our community to utilize those type of nicknames. Gorda, gordo, flaco, and they'll change your name, chaparro, güero, güera, and so they'll and you don't understand that does. I had a young girl who in her family she was labeled because of the color of her skin. She was the darkest in the family, so in
Yeah.
within, yeah,
Yeah, that's a big thing, and I heard that's a big thing in like Latino communities, like colorism, and that's a big thing also in like Asian communities too. Like
oh
you
wow.
see in South Asia and Southeast Asia, even like Filipinos. So people who are darker, like and you also see it in obviously movies like Bollywood, lighter skin. You want lighter skin. Some of the commercials, it's like lighten your skin. That type of thing. Um, yeah, it's I think people are finally coming around to all these sort of terms like colorism and that kind of thing. They're finally becoming mainstream, like these kind of talking points. Like even like mental health is way mainstream now in the last 2 years.
Yes, I agree with you. There's still a big challenge, but
Yeah,
I,
I actually wanted to ask. Sorry for interrupting, but since you work for you work with students and stuff like that, how has that dynamic changed? Because you see a lot of people online now, Instagram, whatever, Twitter, they're talking about how they've been going through struggles internally. Some people might think it's for show or something like that. I don't know. I wouldn't agree with that, but some people I don't know. I think it's become like, that's why I guess the same, it's mainstream now, because you see a lot of athletes talk about it, and then from there, people who I guess look up to them or people who like them, they start to talk a little bit more about it, be like, oh yeah, now that LeBron says this, like I can say it too, so something like that. Some people are just really, they want to wait until someone they're familiar with, comes out about it.
Yes. So, your specific question to me is what?
Oh, what's the dynamic like for these high schoolers now? Now that the mental health discussion has become mainstream now, um, do our high school students, do they feel, these young kids, whatever, whoever you're working with, whomever, do they feel more pressure to speak out, or maybe more people are staying silent? Maybe some people are staying silent still,
So
because
you
now it's just like, why won't you speak?
so you'll be surprised to know that in my work mainly right now is with college students, all ages alike.
Okay, okay.
And all backgrounds and different ethnicities or ages alike. And you'll be surprised that even though you see that it's more mainstream, there is still taboo and there's still a somewhat of a shame attached to saying, I have a mental illness diagnosis. And it takes them a while. It's not until me as a professor definitely mention in the classroom, this is okay, and the fact of the matter is that I am a social work professor, and so these are social work students, so I have that leadway to say, hey, if you're not okay with mentioning about your own mental health or mental illness diagnosis, then how are we expecting clients to confide in us and speak with us and talk to us, and how are we going to advocate for them if we cannot talk about it? So I think it's very important to get to a place to talk about this. And every time I have that spiel, every time I have that, a student comes up to me and says, well, I have been diagnosed with depression, or I have anxiety or bipolar, and they feel more comfortable, but because the platform has been set for them, and it's okay. So I think, as you keep saying, mainstream, so that's the goal. Let's continue to talk about that this is a serious issue, and it's not a joke, and we have to pay attention to it. And I think the more that we do that, the more and more people are going to feel comfortable in saying, hey, I'm just not okay today. I have this illness. The other thing is that we shouldn't pressure no one either to say that. Why should we? We should just be conscious enough to know that that is a human condition and that can occur in anyone's life.
Right.
And the more that we less ridicule about it, like, as I was mentioning you, that young girl, she had to receive services because she was suicidal,
Oh,
just because the family was bullying her and setting her apart from the rest, that she was the darkest in the family. And by the way, it wasn't necessarily the mom or the dad, even though they would throw a little joke here and there, but it was more the siblings, like, you don't look like us, you're dark, my mom and dad picked you up
Oh
from.
man, kids are the worst.
Exactly. And so, and she ran away at the age of 13.
wow.
And one of her goals was to take her life away. She did not want to live. I don't belong to nobody. My sisters and my brothers say I don't belong to this family. Even though they said it joking around, they were playing. You know how siblings, they bully each other, but like you were saying,
Oh man.
yeah.
Yeah, like it's like the mob mentality. It's present everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that, because that's how teens roll. They
Yeah.
roll in packs.
Yeah, I
And
mean, I feel like I've been in a situation where if I feel like if I've done maybe something a little bit differently or a little bit wrong, uh, hordes of people will let me know about it.
yeah, right. But when you do good, you're like, yo.
And it's not like even like good or bad. It's just like you do something slightly different, or maybe maybe you
Yeah.
stumble a little bit on a twig. It happens. When you're walking around. Now the whole community's got to know that happened. It's more like you got to be there to see that. You got to be there. That's why it was funny, I guess.
Yeah.
No, I hear you. I hear you. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
I
Our
got
own prejudices against that also contributes to it being taboo, or or people just ignoring it, or people making fun of it, because the crowd makes fun of it. So the majority makes fun of it, then we can also do that. We can also make fun of it. But no, it's a serious issue.
Yeah, I got something to share. So like me growing up as a kid, right, in high school, I had a lot of problems with anger and like holding grudges, which is normal, right? But if you hold on to it so long, you kind of explode. Like you just release it and just goes crazy, right? So one day I told my dad, I told my mom first, right? I said, "Hey mom, you know what? I think something's wrong with me because I had so many fights in school, and I was like, Mom, I think I need help. Like, somebody to talk to me, like a psychologist, somebody, right? Or a social work." And then my mom, she got in contact with her boss, and her boss found somebody who specialized, right, with the youth and who's a good social worker or psychologist. I don't know which one. And everything was all set. My mom gave me the okay. She's like, I'm glad you opened up to me. And if I can't help you, maybe somebody else could help you, right? So we had everything good. We had the piece of paper ready to go, but I just needed my dad's signature so I can get the help I needed, right? So I go see my dad. He picks me up from school. I said, Dad, real quick, I'm just letting you know, even though we don't talk so much, I'm having problems in school and in life. I can't really explain it to you because you won't understand. But I have this document that I need you to sign so I can get some help. That's all I told my dad. And my dad said, you don't need help. You're fine."
Hmm.
And I literally I left the car. I literally jumped out of the car and walked home mad. Like I started like really mad because I'm like, Dad, this is your chance to help your son. But like you said, with the Hispanic community, it's seen as a taboo. It's not real. You're just having a fit, right?
Yeah.
So one day I was like, man, I told my mom. My mom starts crying. She's like, oh my gosh, your father, I can't believe he did that. So I started calling my contacts, right? So I called one rabbi that I know. He has like a PhD in psychology. And I was like, one of my friends got me connected with him. And I met him a few times. I've hanged out with him. And I went over to his office, right? I'm really excited. This is my chance to let go of what I feel, what I'm struggling with. And you're not gonna believe what the rabbi said. He's like, look, I can't really help you. That's a hard situation. That's all he told me. And I said, man, thanks for your time. I thought I was gonna get something better than this, right? I was like, man,
Well, but you were explaining all those problems, though. Did it at least feel cathartic at the time, like that you're saying it to someone?
yeah,
Because
and
I feel like people just want someone to listen. Just
yeah,
want someone to listen,
but
or
here's
write it down.
yeah, yeah, that's true. The thing is, the rabbi that I was sharing this with didn't feel really engaged or really interested, I
Oh,
could say.
right.
So it's
He was
like
kind
he
of an
was there,
asshole.
yeah, he was there, but he wasn't there, if that makes sense. Because he's
I
like,
mean, that
oh,
also could have been, what year was this? I mean, it also could have been, what, 2006 or something like that, 2007, where this wasn't really like a talk. No one was talking about this kind of stuff. Not
yeah,
really.
it's not really that big, yeah. But check this out. So after I got rejected, right? I thought I got rejected with this spiritual leader, and he just didn't want to listen to me. So I told my mom, Mom, I think there's no hope. Everybody, my dad didn't sign the paper. The rabbi said, I can't help you. I'm
Wow.
like, I'm screwed. I guess I'm just gonna continue doing what I do, right?
Wow.
One day I go, I'm taking martial arts, right? I'm blocking and doing everything. And I talked to my seafood, that's what we call instructor, right? In Cantonese, and he said, I told him, hey, look, seafood, I don't know how to tell you this, but the reason why I've been acting up in class is because I'm struggling. Like I get angry too fast, and there's just a lot of things in my head. So my seafood's like, "Do you need somebody to talk to?"
Mm.
He's like, "That's not my specialty. Like I'm willing to listen to you, but that's not my specialty." Your kung fu brother, who's also an instructor, his name is Frank. He has a background as a social worker. He's a big guy in Humble Park, which is in Chicago. Everybody knows. and I could talk to him and maybe he could help you out. So I see Frank, right? Frank is this like kind of in his 40s or 38. And I got to meet Frank. You're not going to believe this. But I met Frank and he was like, "Yeah, David, if you want, come Monday, and I'll be willing to help you out." Right? So I come in Monday. I'm excited. I hope he doesn't say, "Oh, there's nothing I can do to help you." Right? So I get there, just thinking in my back of my head, "All right, please, I hope this is a positive intervention or something." Right? I get there. You're not gonna believe this, Frank. He's talking to me, and I'm sharing things that I'm going through, and he's saying things that is very similar to what I went through. And he made me feel so good, like for an hour. And you know what he said to me that changed my life? He's like, "Look, David, you could call me anytime you want.
Hmm.
I'm here all the time. I'm willing to move my schedule just to talk to you." That's what he said.
Wow.
So when I was
Wow.
mad at my mom, I remember one time I was so mad at my mom. "Mom, I want to talk to you right now. I'm gonna go see my social worker. I ain't got time for you." So my mom actually dropped me off to the social worker, and she's like, "Okay, fine. I hope he changes your mind that you're wrong." So I go to the social worker. I'm like, "Hey, Frank. Hey, it was something. Man, Frank, I'm having a bad day. My mom said I was wrong. You know I was right. You know I was right." And Frank, he's just hearing me. And honestly, I calmed down. He showed me some exercise, a breathing, and I felt better. And my whole life completely changed. And the nice thing about Frank is that he never charged me for every session. I probably saw him maybe 4 times a week. And I got to see him like an hour or two. And my mom saw how different I changed. I was being more respectful to my mom. I didn't run away from the house anymore. So I feel like we all need help, whether it could be physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual. We just gotta find that person, whoever it is, to kind of help us get back or cope with our
100%.
situation.
And David, what would you say was the number one thing? Why did it work? What did he do?
I think what Frank helped me is he helped me build my confidence back. That made me feel love again, like to make me feel like, man, you're not alone. This is something common, and I think that's what stood out.
Do you feel like he listened to you?
Oh yeah, because when someone listens to you, I feel like they paraphrase what you're saying back to that person, and you hear, you're like, wow, this guy really paid attention. Like, I was talking for an hour and a half, and he basically, gave me a good summary. And I realized that he never said, "Look, David, I think you're messing up on this." He never judged me. He just gave me questions for me to answer myself,
Yes. Yeah.
and that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, we work from a strengths-based perspective. And what that means is that we understand that um, the client or the person we're seeing is the director and owner of their life. Like you're the expert of your life. We're just here to guide you and help you reach the goals that you've set for yourself. And so that's what most often, like your partner said, that everyone, needs someone to listen to them, hear them. And one thing is listening, one thing is really hear them. And you said it correctly, right? When someone heard you, someone heard you because they could repeat back what you had just shared with them. And so most often, even with the young population, is they're not being listened to, they're not respected, they're not understood.
Yeah, that's true.
Like you were not being understood. Your father just, you say rejected you, right? That's how it felt to you. That
Right.
was right, that he rejected you. But the reality could be that your dad has all different ideologies. And for him, it's like, I remember I used to hear this a lot. If anybody said, I remember when I was younger and I would say, I need to seek some help. I need to see somebody. I'm not feeling quite well. People would say, you don't need to see nobody. You're not crazy. You get it?
Yeah. Yep.
So they, yeah, automatically, associate you or label you crazy if you're seeking help, if you're seeking some assistance because you need to process. And adolescents, there is something happening biologically in their body and in their brains. And so if people don't know this, then they feel rejected, misunderstood. They themselves don't know what's happening in their bodies, but there is an actual uh something's happening in their system. So what would big theorists in development and human development area will tell you that the hardest and most challenging time of a human being's life is adolescent years, because of all the changes they're going through, the puberty and all the changes, and then identity. Who am I? Where do I belong? And now this whole struggle with, am I a Christian, Protestant, or am I Catholic? Am I a Jew? Am I pro-life, against life? I mean, they're thinking all this things like, who am I? That's the big question. Who am I? And so most often they just feel misunderstood.
Wow, that's beautiful. Beautiful stuff, man. Oh, I love it. I love it, man. But man, we got real deep, man. Um, and one thing, Maribel, I want to share something real quick. I want you to speak a little bit about your book. We didn't get. I see it behind. I like next to you, and
Yeah.
I know you know a lot about it because you're the author. You know what I'm saying? There you go. Look at that. Look at that.
So this is it's a small little book, but oh my God, it's so valuable. So what the students, they call me the walking quote, because and as you can tell, my husband put this back here for us. Don't stop growing. All these quotes going through, because I'm always, my daughters, and David knows my daughters, they always tell you, Mom, you're always preaching. You're always preaching. You always have a quote, or you always, that's how that's how I lived. I love to read. And so I would read quotes from, you name it, John Dewey. You don't learn from your experiences. You learn from the reflection of those experiences. Oprah, you name it. The Bible. I read the Bible, and there's so many like Bible verses that just guide my life. And so the students call me the walking quote. So one semester or 1 year, my senior students, what they did is they started quoting me in class. And they started a Snapchat called Dr. Lopez Quote of the Week. Unbeknownst to me, I could have gotten really upset. They were Snapchatting me. For one, I don't know how to use a Snapchat. And so then they started Snapchatting me every Tuesday in class, and they posted. And so at the end of the year, I always throw a little graduation party for my students, because they're seniors. They're about to graduate with their bachelor's degree. And so they say, Dr. Lopez, we have a gift for you. And so they gifted me, and I'm not in my office, I would show it to you all, but a little book like similar to this one, with all the quotes they quoted me in the classroom for that entire 2 semesters. And then they gifted to me just the quotes, right? And not only that, they added the quotes that impacted people on their Snapchat, which I didn't even know. And people were commenting and saying, hey, where's Dr. Lopez Quote of the Week this week? I need Dr. Lopez in my cup of coffee. So I told them, I said, you know what? One day I'm going to do, I didn't know when, but I said, one day, this is yours. This is not mine. I'm going to pay it forward. Because it was like a little journal. It's a little journal, and they actually wrote all the quotes. They quoted me. So then my husband and I, in conversation and with a friend, I was like, we got to do something for them. What are we going to do? And hence the birth of the Dr. Lopez Scholarship Foundation. And I'm so excited because just tonight we chose 5 students that are going to be awarded this year $1,000 scholarships, and one scholarship, and one of them is going to get awarded $500. So what we did is that we self-published a book. My husband and I grabbed all those quotes, and what I did was that I added the quote. But see, I added the quote, but with the little story, why that quote means something to me. So, like, for example, I put here, accentuate the positive. And what I mean by that is, in other words, I put here, mi abuela said, alábate pollo que mañana te guisan. So what that really means is that you need to praise yourself. You need to be your number one cheerleader, because if you don't, this is what I wrote, powerful stuff. In other words, you need to acknowledge your own accomplishments and don't dwell too much on your failures. Yes, failures are part of the journey, but they don't need to be your focus points. Seek the lesson and move on. Ask anyone you find successful, they will share. They failed many times. I call it tryouts, not failure. And so that's why I used, and so I added the little story behind the why that quote is important to me. Some of them are mine, some of them are not mine. You're gonna find that I give credit where credit is due. And so for everyone that purchases the book, on Amazon is I think $20. I think it goes straight into the scholarship fund. So anyone that buys the book supports a student's dream to achieve their college education.
Wow, that's beautiful. That shows you have a big heart. Because I know people that be like, nah, I just want the money. Let me get the money. But you showing that it really it makes you very humble. And I think that's great because there's a lot of people that don't have those attributes, you know? And I think that's beautiful.
Well, David, for me, if you ask me, and people ask me, why are you so passionate about students? And I wrote a small little blog, and I call it because I am that student. I am that student who struggled through school financially. I am that student who struggled with comprehension in the classroom. I am that student who needed the support, who needed mentors, who needed the helping hand, just like you received, David. I am that student who fell asleep in the parking lot because I was too tired for working a job and raising children, being a single mom and going to school. I am that student who needs the support. And so for me, helping a student basically just um, I value I value what they're doing, and I also give. It's like a way of saying to me, it's okay. You went through it, but that you got here, and now it's time to help someone pay it forward. I am that student that because of scholarships, I was able to continue school. I am that student because someone believed in me and gave me a sponsorship. I remember one time I received a Target card for $25, a program that was at the school. I signed up for it and they gave me $25. I was in heaven because those $25 helped me buy dinner that night, because all my money was going to school and my children and paying the bills. You all know how that is. Even if you don't have children, it's still difficult. And this is why I want to pay it forward. I want to pay it forward because I'm grateful. I want to pay it forward because students deserve it. I want to pay it forward because I was that student.
It's beautiful, man. Well, guys, I think I'm gonna wrap it up. I'm very happy, Maribel. You touched my heart. It's a big honor to have you here. Like my fans are mostly in the age of 18 to 32. So and it's also Hami's fans too. So they're very young, and
We
I
actually have some fans in you. This is weird. We actually have some people listening to us from like Europe. I think in Ireland we have like two people listening to us, and in Dublin. No, no, sorry, not Dublin. Sorry, that's Ireland.
Germany.
The Netherlands, Holland,
Yeah.
Holland, the Netherlands.
I want to go to the Netherlands one day.
Yes, yeah. Let's do it. Let's all go.
Yeah,
Let's
hey,
go.
get
Let's
that
go.
ticket, get that first class. Oh man, but yeah,
David, he doesn't know me. He doesn't know me, right, David? If
right,
we're
right,
going, we're going.
right. That's true. Thanking our bad guys. But yeah, so I want to thank y'all, also you, Hami, for coming through, and hope you guys have a blessful day. And my fans, don't forget to share, like, comment, subscribe, and Maribel, is there like a link or like a website if we have fans that want to reach out to you, like?
For certain. Thank you also for inviting me and bringing this such an important topic on the table. Talk about it. Just like Hamid said, let's make it mainstream. Let's bring it out to the light. You can always find more information about what I'm doing or the foundation at Dr. Lopez. So it's DLO, www DLO Scholarship Foundation, but also I have my personal, which is Dr. Lopez, Dr. Maribel Lopez.com, and
Okay.
also Facebook, Dr. Maribel Lopez Scholarship Foundation. That's the title of the Facebook page. And yeah, just support, share. I'm one of our goals with the foundation is not only financial, it's also resources and mentorship, like I mentioned earlier on. So hey, if I have a student who would like to start a podcast, I would love to connect them with you all. And you try to teach them and show them or let them shadow you for a night or something, see what you do and just mentor them. I want to get as many mentors as possible because mentors help me get to where I am today.
Wow. Yeah, we're down. We're always looking for more people to join. So, yeah, we are totally yes. Two thumbs up. We got you.
Okay.
All right, guys. So
Thank
I'll
you
catch
guys.
y'all later. Okay, guys.
Thank you.